perfect. But
Yeah.
then I looked
Okay, I will.
Some of you may wonder what my day job is. Like, how do I pay rent? It certainly isn't from YouTube, I'll tell you that much. No, the truth is I've been a camera assistant for reality shows for the last 4 years now. I can't tell you which ones, for legal reasons, I assume. Last year I worked on a show that flew me all the way to London, and that was an incredibly fun trip. A stressful one, but a very fun one. So that being said, while it is a job that I never really saw myself doing, being someone who doesn't really watch reality television, it does come with its perks. Every now and then I get paid to travel, and just last week I got back from a 10-day trip where I went to 3 different states and shot 6 rolls of 35mm film. I have all of my scans back now, so I figured I would run through them all and share them with all of you. First we went to Massachusetts, then to Atlanta, then to Sacramento, and we capped our trip off in Los Angeles. The weather in Massachusetts was pretty whack while we were there, pretty cloudy, and I didn't have much time to shoot, so Massachusetts was a bust. From there we drove to Logan Airport and flew to Atlanta. I woke up nice and early and looked out at the city, knowing I was about to shoot the shit out of it. Alright, so I realized I didn't give any updates. Hold on, let me grab my coffee. I brought 2 cameras with me. I thought about bringing my Bronica, but frankly, the idea of packing it in my checked luggage did not sound too appealing. I didn't want it to get rattled around. So what I did bring was my Ricoh XR2, all reliable. I also got my Pentax K1000 and just recently put a roll of Ektar 100 in it. The lens mounts are the same on this and the Ricoh, so I could swap between the 50mm and the 28mm as needed. Hold on, let me grab one more thing. I've also got my my carrying case for 35mm film. Reppin' Exposure Therapy. Go check them out in Brooklyn. They're my photo lab. In here, I've got just like some basic. I got some more Fuji 400, Kodak Ultramax. I also got some black and white. I got a roll of Kentmere Pan 400, just in case I want to do any black and white stuff. And I did bring a roll of Kodak 160NC, expired 160NC. The plan right now is to go to Piedmont Park, I think is what it's called, Piedmont Park, and walk south, I think, down to Inland Park. Is that what it's called? Should be a good long walk. And we'll see the rest right now. My first step when I got to Piedmont Park was to check out the Atlanta Botanical Garden. That $45 per diem was put to pretty good use buying this ticket. I'm always a big fan of botanical gardens. Honestly, photographing flowers can feel like cheating sometimes just because they're so beautiful and they make for such interesting subjects. I wandered around in there for about 2 hours and primarily shot the entire roll of Ektar in my Pentax K1000. And boy, do I love the photos that I got. This was my first time shooting Ektar 100 in 35mm form, and as Randy Newman once said, "You got a friend in me." I could see myself shooting this a lot more. I love the vibrancy of the colors in every single shot. If you've watched this channel before, you may know that I really love the colors in my photographs to pop, and boy, do these ones pop. After demolishing that roll of Ektar, since it was so sunny out, I figured I'd take a chance on shooting a roll of expired Portra 160 NC. Now, I was going to save this for a later video, but I'll give you a sneak peek. My experience with the expired 160 NC that I got in that bag of expired film has been kind of hit or miss. I've primarily been shooting all of it at 100 ISO, and some rolls that I shoot at 100 turn out really underexposed, while others turn out perfectly fine. I'll talk about it in a future video once I finish shooting all of the Portra 160 that I have in the bag, but I'm happy to report that this one was a banger. But hold on, because before exiting the park, I swapped out the roll of Ultramax that I had in my Ricoh for a roll of Kentmere Pan 400. From there, I walked to Ponce Market and found out about this thing called the Beltline, which would take me to Inman Park and somewhere called Cabbagetown, which seems sort of like an arts district where every single wall was covered in art, and it was truly marvelous. After all of this, I went to a place called Little 5 Points, where I went to a film lab called Bellows. If you're ever in the Atlanta area, I highly encourage you to pop in and check these guys out. And there I picked up a roll of Kodak Pro Image 100, a film that I've actually never shot before. And spoiler alert, Pro Image f***s. Just in case the bleep didn't make that clear, I'm not saying the Pro Image sucks. I'm saying that it f***s. Understand? After what was about 8 hours of walking and 30,000 steps, I decided it was time to go home. And by home, I mean my hotel room. Along the way, I finished up the roll of Portra 160 NC, and here are my top 3 favorite photos from that roll. The colors are beautiful across the board, the grain is subtle, and I feel like I really underestimate my Pentax lenses. This trip really made me appreciate my SMC Pentax M f2 50mm lens. The shallow depth of field was really working for me on this whole run. Like this bucket-bodied, hard hat, crock-pot man thing, the separation between him and the background is like butter.
Like a big stick of butter.
Anyway, the next day was a work day, and then the day after that, we had to say goodbye to Atlanta and say hello to Sacramento, California. When we arrived, I decided to go see that movie The Fall Guy because it was raining buckets outside and there really wasn't any chance of me shooting anything while I was there. And speaking of buckets, here's a photo of Garfield keeping all kinds of secrets at the bottom of a popcorn bucket. Anyway, I didn't have any time to shoot anything in Sacramento except for these 2 photos of a muffin in my hotel room right before we left. Where was I off to so soon, you ask? Well, I was out on the old dusty trail for a 7-hour drive to Los Angeles. Of course, along the way we had to stop for some In-N-Out and take a look at this nightmare fuel of an animatronic bear dressed up as an old prospector. Back in Atlanta, I loaded up my Pentax with a roll of Fuji 400, and simultaneously I was still shooting that roll of Kentmere 400 in the Ricoh XR2. When we arrived in LA, it was about 1 p.m. and I had the rest of the day off, so you can make for damn sure that I wasn't about to waste it. So I went someplace that I had always wanted to go, Santa Monica. Funny story about this last one. While I was taking a photo of this crazy looking ass bird, this guy caught a fish and 2 other birds flew over to him to fight over it, and he was whacking them away, and eventually he won, but those birds, they put up a good fight. All right, hang in there. We are in the end game now. At this point, after finishing the Fuji, I loaded up my Pentax K1000 with the Kodak Pro image that I bought in Atlanta. And remember earlier when I said this film f***s? Well, this is why. This may have just been the convergence of many different factors. 1, a wonderful film stock that was new to me and surprising. 2, just beautiful subject matter and interesting architecture. 3, being in a place that I'd never been before and knowing that I was possibly only going to have one shot at photographing it. And 4, the gorgeous setting California sun. All of these things combined make these my favorite photos that I took on the entire trip. So much so that I can't even pick a top 3, so here's a top 10. Okay, editor Josh from the future coming in here. I gotta reveal something. I forgot a roll of film. Not like I forgot about it, I just forgot that I ever shot it, and I forgot that I dropped it off at the lab to be developed and scanned. So just yesterday, I got a rollback from the lab, and I was like, oh shit, this is from when I was in California. For the life of me, I don't remember putting the roll in, but I do remember taking the photos, and I can't believe that I completely forgot that I ever took them. There was a part of me that was like, oh, maybe I'll just forget about it. I don't have to add them to the video. But then looking at the photos, I was actually really happy with how they turned out. This is a roll of Kodak Ultramax that I shot in either my Pentax or my Ricoh. I'm not entirely sure, but if I had to venture a guess, I probably shot it in the Pentax. A majority of these photos were taken around the area of my hotel that I was staying at. I think one morning that I was there, I just got up extra early and went for a long walk around these neighborhoods in, I guess, Sherman Oaks is where I was. And yeah, I'm just gonna show you all the photos, and then I'll tell you what my top 3 are at the end. I'm gonna keep walking around here. I'm probably gonna head back to my hotel soon. It's about 9 o'clock, almost. Pretty successful trip. I've shot about 6 rolls so far. I only have 3 left. I don't know if I'm gonna get through all 3, but yeah, a lot of photos, and I hope you guys are enjoying. And back to Josh in the studio. See, weren't those delightful? I'm glad that I took the time to rush this part of the video into this video. Here are my top 3 from that roll of film. I'm really happy with how a lot of these turned out. I especially like the green leaf with the dew on it. That one I specifically remember getting kind of a weird look by a guy after I took it. I took it and then I stood up and this guy kind of like gave me like a, what the hell are you taking a picture of a leaf in the grass for? And I gotta say, I'm really glad that I took it, and that guy can go f himself. Also, I took a lot of photos of palm trees, and it wouldn't be a trip to California if I didn't take photos of palm trees. But yeah, so these photos on Kodak Ultramax, most likely shot in the Pentax K1000, were great. I'm glad that I was able to fit them into this video. And with that, let's get back to Past Josh. Sadly, after Santa Monica, it was back to work and then back to New York. I say sadly, but honestly, after like 11 days on the road, it really felt good to come home. I was missing my cats hardcore. Oh, and my girlfriend Harley. But 6 rolls shot, a bunch of photos that I'm truly proud of, and some memories that I'm gonna cherish forever. Like that Garfield popcorn bucket. I mean, what was he hiding? No, but seriously, I understand how privileged I am to work a job that allows me to see parts of the country and parts of the world that I might otherwise not get a chance to see. I tend to put the pressure on myself to be sure to thoroughly document my time when I'm in these places. And in the case of London last year, it didn't really work out all that well. But I'm happy to say that this trip was a success. And that'll do it for this week. Thank you all so much for watching. We just recently hit 3,000 subscribers, which is crazy. I know it may not seem like a lot, but I am truly grateful to everyone out there. So thank you so much. Don't forget to share with everyone and try to get this channel to keep growing. Also, go ahead and do all the usual stuff. Hit the bell to be notified when new videos are released. You could become a member by finding the join button. You can go to my website and order some prints of photos that I showed you in this very video. You can hit me up on Instagram. And while you're doing that, I'm going to go feed my cats, and I'll see you all next time.